Politicians, please stay away from the video game industry. Every time they come near it, it's always bad news. And this time is clearly no different. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. This time we have a U.S. Senator by the name of Mark Warner, who came out of nowhere, supposedly upset about Valve's Steam for spreading hateful content on the internet. Like, this guy just woke up and realized that there's this platform called Steam on computers where nearly every single PC gamer uses such a platform, but all of a sudden now it's a bad thing. Oh, no, wait. It's because the ADL came out with this random report talking about all this hateful rhetoric on Steam that needs to be stopped and all these awful propaganda pushing stuff. When you actually read the report and see what they were claiming, none of it really holds up. Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out smashjt.com for the full article breaking down this crazed senator trying to make a name for himself because, when in doubt, blame video games. Once again, a U.S. senator has decided to waste taxpayer dollars on a trivial agenda instead of addressing those real pressing issues out there. This time, it's Mark Warner of Virginia, who penned an open letter to Valve's Gabe Newell demanding a crackdown on this so-called hateful accounts and rhetoric on Steam. Why? I don't know. Let's probably just go with Think of the Children because that one usually works. In a press release from Warner, it said, U.S. Senator Mark Warner today urged leadership at Valve, a prominent video game company, to respond to reports that their gaming distribution and social networking platform Steam is hosting extremist and hateful content, including over 1.5 million users and tens of thousands of groups that share and amplify anti-Semitic, Nazi, sexually, or gender-based hate and white supremacist content. Because when the ADL takes interest in something, they need to come up with why it's bad. They need an angle, and they start reaching, and it gets embarrassing. But the problem is, when it comes to headlines and stories, a lot of the times people don't read past the headlines, and then you just end up with rhetoric being built up, and people think a problem is way worse than it really is because all people are doing these days is reading the headlines. Which, I gotta be honest, based off of this wild report and Warner pushing it forward, it tells me that he actually didn't read the article whatsoever. Either that, or he's a complete moron. Warner's particular obsession with trying to moderate a gaming platform reeks of hardcore political theater, targeting what amounts to digital noise, while actual real-world problems are going unaddressed. Interestingly enough, timing-wise, the letter is just a day after the ADL came at Steam and Gabe Newell for hosting extremism and anti-Semitism. Curious timing, almost like this is all some sort of coordinated attack. Because why is everyone all of a sudden coming at Steam? It's been around for decades at this point. And all of a sudden it's a problem? In his letter, Warner said that the report from the Anti-Defamation League, the ADL, claimed that Steam was harboring tens of thousands of groups, allegedly promoting anti-Semitic, white supremacist, and other hateful ideologies. But let's be real here. We all know this is an overblown attempt to vilify one of the largest gaming platforms in the world for the actions of a tiny fraction of users for the sole purpose of grandstanding and making it sound to those out of the loop that you're trying to do something productive as a senator. Like, look at me, making the world better by coming down hard on these big companies like Valve that have been around forever and gamers have been totally fine with. But someone that doesn't game comes over and says, oh wait, all these things, this hateful rhetoric that's being spread here from that headline that I read, we need to stop all of this. And to take a quick look at what he's referencing, the 1.83 million unique pieces of extremist or hateful content coming from the ADL report was talking specifically about anti-Semitic symbols, and they grouped them all together so that it makes it seem like everything is a swastika. Like, That's really what it comes down to. If they're saying, oh, it's a swastika, it's Nazi, there's this, there's that, there's a frog, there's that other thing, this other thing. And it's like, well, 99.9% of those things are the frog. But we threw all these words together to make it seem like, oh, they're all swastikas. Like, that's how they use these words to push agendas. They group things together, say awful things about them, and then say, look at the millions of people using all these terrible things. And they go on to talk about copy pastas and how somehow copy pastas are now a popular method for sharing extremist or hateful content on Steam, and that they detected 1.18 million unique instances of potentially, not definitely, by the way, potentially extremist content. This is the most lukewarm attempt at an attack at a company by using words like, oh, look at all these things grouped together, and one of them was a swastika somewhere, I think we found. These are potentially hateful things. Like, according to who? Do you need a safe space, ADL? Because it sounds to me like you're trying to make a reason to exist so that you get more taxpayer dollars. A significant number of Steam users and group pages use an avatar. In parentheses, they explain, that's a profile picture. Because the people reading these reports don't play video games. They don't care about video games. They just want to be angry at things and make money off of their hatred. They try to monetize the hate. And again, with the potentially extremist or hateful symbols, multiple users can have the same avatar image. COE identified 827,758 user and group profiles with avatars that contained extremist or hateful symbols. I gotta take a step back from this one real quick and say, do you actually have someone that you're like paying on your payroll to manually review nearly 1 million logos and then quantify them accurately? We're supposed to believe that this is a human being looking at these, or are we just kind of grouping them together again and saying, yeah, we ran through our filter and the automated system, and these are the things that the computer told us were things we need to be offended about? Because either way, it's not a good look. Steam is a platform used by nearly every PC gamer. It's not some sort of social engineering experiment that people are trying to find out what buttons they can push to make hateful things out there. With well over 100 million unique accounts, it's obviously inevitable that you're going to have some bad actors out there. Like, welcome to reality. People are trying to police things so that there can never be any bad actors anywhere. And if you try to have that happen, you're going to have a bad time. And Warner's letter is conveniently ignoring those pesky First Amendment protections, those things that allow even distasteful speech to exist online, especially in America. Valve is not a government entity. It has no obligation to police any kind of legal speech, even if it clearly offends Warner's delicate sensibilities. And this guy, genuinely, after reading through this entire monolith of text from this guy, he needs a safe space. And he needs it now. What's most concerning in all of this is the kind of precedent doing stuff like this sets. Today, it's Steam. Tomorrow, it could be any platform or service that politicians decide isn't sufficiently safe. And we're here from the government. We're here to protect you. Which are words that you should run the other direction every time you hear them, because there's always an ulterior motive behind the scenes. Senator Mark Warner's crusade against Steam here is a pointless distraction masquerading as some sort of meaningful action to try to justify his position. His odd fixation on Valve's moderation policies here is nothing more than extreme political grandstanding. It's wasting taxpayer dollars on trivial issues that should be left to the company themselves to handle. Instead of demonizing a gaming platform, this kind of lunatic should focus on actual governance and leave the online policing to those who voluntarily sign up for it and come together as a community on what we're going to allow and what we're not. And most gamers, at least the ones that I deal with, want less restrictions, not more. The more times we try to restrict things, the less we're able to say, the less free speech we have, and the more people are able to control what we're allowed to talk about. None of that is a good direction. And honestly, I'm so sick and tired of this. Going back all the way to the ESRB in the 90s and the politics involved with it. Nothing good has ever come from government involvement when it comes to technology and gaming. These senators and policymakers need to stay as far away as possible because they are not helping anyone except their own wallets along the way. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you guys want more information, check out smashjt.com for the full article, links, references, everything I talked about here. If you appreciate what I'm doing, hit that join button. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing.
I think the American public wants a government that is not on either end of the political extreme. I think they want a government that's more focused about doing things for the American people rather than carrying out political grievances.